the radio show. Thank you for joining me, as always. I hope everyone had a really great week. For me, I just can't even believe we're already in November and the year's almost over. The holidays are here. I mean, it's just going to be crazy these last 2 months before we embark on a brand new year. So before we get into tonight's predictions, I just wanted to give everyone a heads up on Mercury going retrograde this month. The shadow period begins right around the 15th of November. So if you have any new things you want to launch or anything that you want to accomplish within taking action steps forward, now's the time to do it. Try to get it done between now and the 15th because that's when it gets into the shadow period and we'll start dealing with that backward, stagnant type feeling and having, technical issues and computer and phone and travel delays and all that stuff. So, like I said, handle it now before we go into retrograde. So then also, this month you have the Scorpio energies. And one of the things too for November that's going to be coming up for a lot of people, it's a month of healing that victim mentality. And Scorpio energies are really good for that. So it's a strong energy for the month, and you'll be tackling issues surrounding debt, credit, loans, anything to do with finances, marriage, and partnerships, whether they're business partnerships or some other sort of relationships. You can be sure to be dealing with that this month. It's also just a month of powerful transformations internally and externally. Scorpio also deals within the mysterious and psychology and all things esoteric. So it should be a pretty interesting month energetically. Also, Sagittarius energies are really intense this month as well, and those will have you feeling, it'll have you feeling very action-oriented, adventurous, optimistic, travel, spirituality, learning, teaching, and being focused on the bigger picture and just so much more. So there's lots to look forward to this month. And FYI, the full moon is this Saturday, November 3rd, and the new moon is on November 18th. So just wanted to fill you guys in a little bit with that. All right, let's see what this week has in store for us. Tonight's predictions run through to next Thursday, November 9th. These are general predictions for everyone in areas of love, work, finances, health, and spirituality. So the general themes, one of the words that was coming to mind was serenity. And I feel like everyone's going to be in a place of acceptance this week, a state of calmness and trust. I feel like there's going to be a little less stress and conflict for most. I do feel like others will be dealing with kind of the perfect storm in order to get to the place of serenity. Because remember, we always have to kind of work through things in order to experience the other side of it. So I do feel like, and what I mean by the perfect storm is I feel like some of you will unfortunately be thrust into dealing with deep core issues and difficult conditions that will challenge you. And it's going to vary to where you are on your journey and, how far you are along in self-realization and how well you've been working on dealing with internal issues and emotional things and letting go of past traumas. So it'll be, different for everyone. But the one theme that it will have in common is you won't be able to avoid, deny, run, or hide. The perfect storm is forcing you to deal with your garbage. It's forcing things up and out. But the beautiful thing about it is you're going to be surprised at how calmly and quickly you deal with whatever arises. So once you do it, you'll see it wasn't so bad, as you thought. We have a tendency, what goes on in our heads typically is much worse than what actually plays out in reality. So I feel like there will be a sense of relief and that you can't believe you've avoided dealing with the situation or the issue for so long. And once you tackle that, then that's when you'll experience that feeling of serenity and relief. Let's see. I do feel like everyone will feel and have a deep knowing from this point on. There's only one direction to go, and that's forward into a new reality. The past and the old ways of doing things no longer work. There's no turning back and no more repeating old limiting patterns. You either choose to do the work or the universe will humble you by bringing you to your knees. You know, it's that tough love thing. So, and you can see it playing out right now all over the world. I mean, you've got all sorts of stuff happening everywhere. I mean, it's affecting every aspect and every area and every person in some way. You see it from scandalous politicians. You're seeing it from movie stars that are acting inappropriately. You know, there's just all kinds of stuff. You can see it in natural disasters. We've got mass shootings. We have all these extreme things that are coming up, and if you look at it from one perspective, it looks like, you know, the world's falling apart and oh my God, we're in like Armageddon. But then the other side of it is, you know, the darkness must come to light in order to be healed. You can't resolve or heal something if you aren't aware that it exists. And, you know, from my perspective, it's time for everybody to unite and not fight amongst ourselves. It resolves absolutely nothing. This is not about beliefs. It's not about who's right and who's wrong. You know, how does going back and forth with each other about who's right and who's wrong, blaming one another, resolve anything? It doesn't. It just keeps us fighting. It keeps us distracted. It keeps us miserable. When in reality, we all just want the same thing. We all want basic human rights. And we all just want to be loved. Like, that's what everybody's problem is. Everybody just wants to be loved and accepted for who they are. And it has to start with us. So, you know, it's time to let go of any judgments that define and limit ourselves and others. So, again, this is going to be a powerful month. This week itself, I feel like, again, is about unifying like our inner polarities of masculine and feminine energies so that we can embody wholeness. You're embarking on a journey into the unknown. You know, it is. You've got to get comfortable with that. You're not going to get to know everything. You've just got to try to, like, deal or just roll with it. Like, go with the flow. But just know that each step you take on this new journey and into this new direction and every choice that you make, it's creating your new reality. Like, it's creating what you're going to experience. So be careful what you choose to do, what you choose to say, what you choose to think, you know, what actions you take. It's very important that you're mindful of what you're creating in your reality. You're that powerful. So be gentle with yourselves and others this week. There will be a tendency to want to, like, beat yourself up and beat others up over things. Know your strengths. Remember kindness. It's, you know, kindness is not a weakness. This week, just expect more change in your life. For some of you, change alone is difficult. It may even be traumatic for some of you. But I promise all the change you're experiencing is positive, even if it doesn't feel like it is in the moment. And some of the change isn't necessarily permanent. It's just something that you need to go through in the moment to, yeah, it's like a skill building process. So, you know, again, try not to get too fixated on all these things. Just try to go with the flow. If you need help, ask for it. If you need guidance, seek it. You know, in the end, you're in charge of you. So get help. There's no shame in it. Let's see. Let's get into those of you that work. Okay. So for those of you that are employed, I feel like some of you will be feeling overwhelmed at work this week. Again, ask for help if you need it. I do feel like some of you will be the ones who offer to help, and then you feel overwhelmed for offering. So, you know, don't offer to help or say yes to helping someone out of some sense of obligation. Like, you know, one of the most powerful things you can do is say no and honor yourself. If you're stressed and you're overwhelmed and somebody asks you for help and you just don't have it in you, be honest. Hey, I just can't do it. I'm not feeling up to par myself. So I'm as much as I want to help you, I'm going to be no help to you. You know, just be honest. It's okay to say no. I do feel like some of you will decide to leave good jobs, ones that you actually like, the ones that, ones that you have been working at for a long time. I just kind of feel like you're just feeling, I don't know, I just feel like the love is gone. There's no passion. It's like boredom. Your heart's just not in it anymore. So some of you, I feel like, will have the opportunity to actually retire, and you're just going to be like, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to figure out something else. You may not actually quit next week, but I feel like you're going to take that leap of faith and start thinking about what you want to do. Others, I feel like, are going to be in a heat of like an emotional reaction of some way. So I feel like you guys, some of you might actually just be like, you know what, screw this, I'm out, I quit, I'm done. And you can do it because you got yourself a little extra stash of cash, so you don't have that fear like some others. Those of you that are looking for a job, I just kind of feel like there's nothing going on. I got nothing for you. So to me, that just kind of means like maybe it's just going to be the usual, nothing's happening. I didn't really get any real solid information for that. Let's see, love, committed relationships, and dating. I feel like some of you will be convinced you're 100% right about something and your partner's wrong. So like it's the whole right and wrong thing, and you're going to prove, how right you are, and you're going to go through the motions of figuring out all of this stuff. And my advice to you is just like, don't fight. You're not going to get anywhere by trying to be the martyr. Just try listening to your partner and see what their point of view is, what their perspective is, and maybe you'll gain a little understanding and insight into your partner. And then you guys can actually talk about it and get to know each other and understand each other a little bit better instead of fighting about something. Communication is key this week in relationships, not just the romantic kind. I do feel like a few of you will be evaluating which relationships you need to let go of and which ones you're willing to work on. And I do feel like some of you may be breaking up this week. Those of you looking for love, I feel like this week there's going to be a tendency to go too fast, too furious in the dating department. I feel like for some of you, you're just so gung-ho, like you've got a date Monday for lunch, Tuesday you've got a breakfast meeting, Wednesday you've got dinner. Like I just feel like you're just stacking up dates left and right, which I think is awesome. And I'm all about like date as much as you possibly can and as many people as you possibly can, because that's the only way you're going to figure out what you want, what you need, what you like, what you don't like. So I'm all about it. But for some reason this week, I feel like you just need to slow it down a little bit and just take the steady approach, because I feel like you're going to overwhelm yourself otherwise. Let's see. I feel like then there's going to be those of you that are going to be kind of introspective and reflecting on like who or what type of person that you actually want in your life. So I think that's always a good thing as well. And I do feel like others are just going to be out doing the usual thing, enjoying life, hanging with friends, socializing, meeting people. And, I think it's just going to be a good week for that. Finances, I do feel like some are going to be, you guys are going to be driving yourselves crazy over worrying about money or the lack thereof. I do feel like some of you will be beating yourselves up because of your spending habits in the past, or maybe all of a sudden you racked up a bunch of credit card debt. I don't know. Just take a couple of deep breaths, let it go, focus on solutions instead of beating yourself up or letting fear completely stress you out. Figure out, where you can cut some expenses, where you can make a couple extra bucks, sell some stuff that you don't wear, like go through your things. If you haven't touched it or needed it in like the last 6 months, you don't need to own it. Sell it. This week is not a week to gamble with money either. I do feel like for some of you, the tide's turning for the better, so you'll start seeing a little bit of relief in the financial department. You've been doing the work and it's starting to pay off. Then there's a few of you who I feel like will experience some unexpected expenses. For some, I feel like it's going to put a dent in your savings. Others, you're going to be robbing Peter to pay Paul, And the rest, I feel like you guys will come up with some creative ideas on how to make the extra money to cover this expense. I feel like most of you, most of everybody's going to make it through whatever unexpected expense. I think you'll be okay. Like, I don't feel like it's going to be too stressful. Health, overwhelm, stress, emotions, anxieties. I feel like they can take over this week if you let them. So figure out a way to stay positive, throw in a little physical activities to get that energy moving, and figure out the best way to release some tension for yourself. And another thing to be mindful of in the health department this week is resisting change, because that's really going to put a stressor on you mentally, physically, and emotionally. So just try to accept and tackle issues as best you can. Eat right, rest, and get some exercise, even if it is just a small walk around the block. Spirituality, I just feel like some of you won't be feeling very spiritual this week, and you won't put any energy into anything spiritual or, mindfulness or meditation or yoga, whatever it is you do. I do feel like you'll be too focused on the day-to-day stresses in your life. However, the happiest people are aware of the importance of balance of mind, body, and spirit. And even if you feel like you just don't want to put any energy into it, maybe just carve out like 5 minutes to give yourself like a moment of silence just to kind of get in a space of peace. And I feel like it will be very beneficial for you. I do feel like some of you are going to be dealing with the whole, feeling like victims and placing blame as to why you feel the way that you do, or, why there are certain situations in your lives, and just kind of the woe is me. And I feel like you'll be stuck in this mindset of, I don't know. I just feel like you're going to be stuck in a negative mindset, and just, try to just let that go and focus on solutions and not the problem. And, sometimes things just happen in life, but once you take responsibility for whatever your part in actions and choices that you've made, you'll feel some relief and change for the better. It's all a matter of perspective. So that wraps up the predictions for tonight. If you enjoy these weekly general predictions, you may enjoy them even more if they're personalized. So I'm offering personalized monthly psychic predictions specific to you. The monthly subscription cost is $58. You'll receive a video. Unless you prefer a written format, then you'll receive an email on the first of each month with personalized predictions for the energies of the month and what you can expect in all the areas I just discussed this evening. You can go to my website and subscribe there under the personalized monthly psychic subscriptions tab, and the website is AskRebecca.guru. I'm going to skip the moment of Zen, and I'm going to get right into taking the caller. So let me just take a peek and see who I have. I have Teresa in Findlay, Ohio. How are you?
Hi. How are you?
Doing pretty good. How about yourself? You're doing all right? Let me ask you.
No, not really.
Let me ask you something really quickly before you get into. Earlier, I was kind of focusing on tonight's caller, and for whatever reason, baby kept coming to mind. So I don't know if it's like something surrounding an issue with children or pregnancy or something. Does that make any sense to you at all?
Yeah, right now I'm really worried about my son. It's a really
he's your baby,
kind of hard to,
right?
Well, he's my baby. I feel as he's my baby, but he's 10 years old.
Right.
But his father, we're going to court, in process of court right now. His dad keeps on trying to take him away from me. And right now, he did, until we go to court again. So that's really been on my mind. What's that?
Was he sneaky about it? I feel like he kind of like blindsided you with the whole getting like legal guardianship of him right now. Like he's with dad right now, right? And you're having to fight to prove that, you're not what he's saying is happening.
Exactly. Yeah.
Are there some
I got set up. And I ended up going to jail. And I'm in the process of proving my innocence right now. And while I was in jail waiting to go to court to get out on OR, he got he signed up, or whatever it's called, before I even knew it. And when I got out, I went to pick my son up, and he wouldn't let me, so I'll see you in court Monday. And I didn't get served any papers until the next day. So, yeah, I was blindsided by it. And I can't believe the court went with it, because it was just totally ridiculous. But they did, and so now I only get to see him an hour a week at an approved site, and until I go to court again. So I was wondering, if you can see if I get my visitations back with him, get my parental rights back.
I do feel like you will get your parental rights back. I don't feel like it's going to happen on Monday. I kind of feel like on Monday they're going to ask you to jump through a couple of more hoops. I do feel like you're going to get more visitation, so I feel like you're going to get more than an hour a week on Monday, and I feel like they're going to ask you, I think they just want, because I don't feel like you have all the proof of, like, proving what, you're basically having to prove your innocence, and I don't feel like you have all the paperwork and all the things that you actually need to prove it. So I kind of feel like they're going to make you jump through a little bit of hoops of proving yourself.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm jumping through a lot of hoops, and I don't go to court again until December. So,
I do feel like by December, it's funny that you said that, by December I do feel like things will be resolved. I do feel like, are there some sort of like behavioral issues with your son? Because I feel like there's some sort of like, I don't know if it's a mental thing, but I feel like that's sort of what he's using against you.
Well, I do. I have depression, and I'm going to have to go to a counselor, and I'm disabled also. I have a lot of physical problems. So he holds both of those, against me, tries to.
Yeah, I feel like in the end, you're going to end up having, I feel like you're going to get your parental rights back. I do feel like it's going to be hashing out the details of where your son is going to be living, and that may actually drag on a little bit further than December, because I do feel like he's trying to, did he like pull, for whatever reason, suicide is coming up? Is there something like, did he say you threatened suicide? Or like, I don't know why suicide is coming up, but does that make any sense to you?
No.
I'm wondering if he's saying that in the background. Like, I feel like there's a connection to like mental instability of where like he's trying to say he doesn't trust that you're going to be in a stable mental position. I don't know. There's something, I mean, maybe this is something that might come up Monday, that you might hear that terminology about him projecting that. I do feel like in the long run, you're going to end up, okay with things. I feel like it will, December that will happen, but you're going to be hashing out the living situation. Are you fighting to get him to live with you, or just have joint?
Yeah, we're kind of like joint custody, kind of.
Okay.
I have my, days and weekends that I get them, and that's what I'm trying to get back is my, I have parental rights, but my not visitation. It's not visitation. It's like joint custody. When I get him on certain days and weekends and stuff, and then he gets them on the opposite and whatever. Hopefully that goes back to normal when we go to court is what I'm hoping. Everything goes back to normal, once I get through this process.
I only have 2 minutes left, so do you have any other questions? I do feel like just make sure you get all your proof together that you're, capable, you're all right. And I do feel like in the end you'll get the joint custody you want and you won't have to do the supervised visitation thing. Just do your counseling, do what you got to do, and it'll all get resolved, okay? Just keep the faith in that.
Yeah, I'm trying. It's really hard, but I'm trying to stay positive. But, yeah, I think that's all that I needed right now.
Okay, well, I promise, it feels like a positive outcome. As long as you're doing your part, it'll all work out. Thank you so much for calling in. And I'm wishing you the best of luck. I'm sending you lots of positive vibes and lots of energy so that you can stay in a positive mindset. So that's all the time we have for tonight. Thank you all for tuning in. I look forward to connecting with you next week. If you'd like to book a session, you can contact me at AskRebecca@gmail. You can call or text me at 407-374-3133. For more information, check out my frequently asked questions page on my website, AskRebecca.guru. Have a great week, everyone. Good night.